It's your voice of the Sporia, RadioMaju.com.
Maju. Now welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West. The shows that's untouchable like Kelly and Ness. From New York to London, we bring you the best. The originator, perpetrator, put me to the test. I see a skill, I'm cool. Huvunjika goo, listen up. Weka mikono juu, show ni majuu. Ndani ya gari, angalia juu tu. Ni mawingu, kata pingu. Tunapaa, up tunapaa. Far away, huko overseas. Lakini sisi bado ni mabis from the east. So sit back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to Radio Maju. My name is George Kichobi, and I'll be your host. Today, I'm joined by my guest, Jeff Kaluyu, from the UCP party in Diaspora. How you doing, Jeff?
I am great. Like you said, I'm Dr. Jeff Kaluyu, the party leader of Unified Change Party, or UCP, and also a presidential candidate for 2027. This is not a new thing for me. I was there 2027, and I'm looking forward to use that experience so that we can do better, more, represent diaspora even better.
Is that DCP or UCP?
UCP. DCP is pretty new. It's a baby. Mine, my party is at least 5 years old. So, yeah, there is always questions whether they. I think DCP people will vote for us. DCP.
Okay, the U and the C and the P and the D is really close, but there is no relation.
There is no relationship. Mine is at least 5 years old. The other one just came the other day, and it's just a respect between the parties.
Yes, that is the highest form of flattery. So, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so DCP is, I'm sorry, UCP, Unified Change Party, is a diaspora party that is vying for leadership position in Kenya. And are you going to be the presidential candidate?
Yes, UCP is a diaspora related party, because a party has to be national, both domestic and foreign diaspora representation. The reason why it resonates, and it should resonate with diaspora more, is because I have been a diaspora for at least 25 years, and I have good experience. I know quite a bit of people, but all parties, they should be able to fetch support from both domestic, especially domestic, because they are the main voters. And then we are looking forward to integrating diaspora even more, and making sure they are motivated to participate in the electoral process, and also choosing the future of Kenya, because elections has consequences. It really talks about the future, and diaspora must be motivated, excited, and they should have the energy to push what relates to them, especially those who understand them, as opposed to those who visit and make some few promises. I am the real deal, I believe.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on Radio Maju, because we are also a diaspora focused platform. So this is actually the place for you. So you've been in this 5 years. Is it like a recognized party that is representing diaspora, or it's just like affiliated with diaspora?
No, this party was formed in 2021. That's why I'm talking of 5 years. 2021. I started forming it in 2019. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of money to create a political party. And once you satisfy all compliance elements and tenets, then you are licensed. I was licensed in October 18th, 2021, and there are usually ways of verification, so it's verifiable. I participate in all political party agendas, meetings, conferences, briefings. We are briefed constantly, and also we are inspected by government. So far, I have passed all the inspections, and the party is ready for duty now. Because I've been diaspora, I formed this party because I had part of it as diaspora in mind, and also prosecuting the case for the diaspora people, also as well the local communities in Kenya. There is no better representation than a person who actually understands the hopes, dreams, and you know, to create a party, it is very expensive. It requires a lot of effort. And because I had experience, and I've said at least I've been in diaspora for at least 25 years. I went to school here or university studies, and I noticed that every 5 years we are promised, we receive a lot of visitors as we do now, and they promise things that they never actually deliver. Most of the times they just write nice policy, but connecting theories with practice has been the monster. It has not been executed very well. And I wanted to create a platform, a path through which diaspora can be able to participate fully. I'm of the belief that they need to be in the system. They need to be in parliament. They need to be in MCS. They need to be in the Senate, and women representatives, and even our diaspora disability people need to be part of it. When you are inside, you can influence policy, you can write policy, you can actually prosecute the case better. But we had no platform, there was no party. This is the first fully integrated party for diaspora that they can use. They can run the platform on this platform, and as opposed to going to hang out in people's homes or houses, which is other parties, they can say we have a home. We can be able to operate our home, and if they want to see us, we can sit on a table in an equal playing field and argue, debate, and prosecute our cases as equal partners.
Very good. That is a very worthwhile agenda that you are on. And I hope the whole diaspora is behind you, because this thing has been going on for a little while, and we've been told that we're going to vote. By the way, are we going to vote this time around from diaspora, or we have to be in Kenya?
It is expected we vote, because we had little turnout in 2013. Remember, we have a new dispensation of 2010 constitution, which were the new constitution was made in 2010. And the participation of diaspora then wasn't so much focused on or targeted. So we had like maybe 2,000-3,000 total diaspora that were voting. But now I know for 2022, we had about 10,000 diaspora that voted. That is a very small number, given that diaspora across the world, Kenyan diaspora is about 4 million people. And 10,000 is like 0 point something of that number. So there is something that is lacking, and I can identify some of them is lack of consular services to bring services close to people where people can be able to vote. You can only vote at the embassy, or I believe in Los Angeles as well, if you're United States, but also access. Countries are vast. So to access, you may have to fly. How many people are willing just to pay flights so that they can vote? There is a lot of promises of mobile, but the execution has been very weak. Also, that is not, as if it's not enough, there is no much engagement. I know some diaspora where the voting just bypasses them without actually knowing what is going on. And there are actual deadlines where people need to kind of pay attention to IEBC if you want to be a candidate. So even though you may have wanted to be a candidate before this party came in, you needed to pay attention. And if you don't have those timelines, then You may want to be, but then you do not adhere to it, then you don't become a candidate. With UCP, we will be updating people, telling people when things need to happen, when candidates need to execute this and that, when they need to submit signatures. There is a little operational process in there, and we will be the pillar to make sure we guide them, we teach them, and we actually motivate them to actually go there. So consular services have been weak. It is expensive for diaspora to vote. It is also not readily available just to register. Like now, to register as a voter or to register as a member of a party, you need to dial some star 509 pound and all that. It doesn't work in the United States. It may work in Turkey, it may work in Europe. But in the United States, we are way too far, and Safaricom doesn't work very well. So there are some few challenges that needs to be ironed, and I am fighting it. And I prosecute this case for the diaspora people with utmost eloquence, and they listen.
Good stuff, very good stuff. So I'm thinking in my layman's non-partisan terms that if you have a database, if the embassy has a database of the people that are here, okay, from the 4 million you mentioned, maybe not all of them are inspired, by what is going on back home. 50% or maybe 60%. So we still have like 2-3 million that we're talking about. And the embassy has like a database of names, addresses, phone numbers of these people. Can they just send out mail or send out emails? And then if you can satisfy your geographical location, maybe your ID or your passport number, they can look against their database and say, okay, so far George Ichobi is in Washington, DC. This is his ID number. This is where his location is. You can either mail him something or we can either email him something, which is like, take 5 minutes. And then you can return it, and then it can go into the tally on the day, which seems it's easier that way than to tell people to go to California if you're coming from maybe, I don't know, Texas or whatever.
Yes, the area of information technology, and they have actually a database that they are supposed to have, but I do not believe, I think it's true that the database does not contain all the contacts and also all the variables, including name, ID, first, last name. And people are encouraged to register, but they don't have that database with all the variables that are necessary to register someone as a voter. But also, this registration of a voter doesn't happen casually. To register, you need first to be a member, if you want to be a member of a party, or you can be independent. It's IEBC that controls the voters. You are entered in a system of IEBC. It's not a matter of email, so that when you go to vote, they can be able to bring it on Kim's kits, and you can be able to do your fingerprints. So that service that is brought close to the diaspora people is where the weak links are. We are not, or people in diaspora have not been reached by the right services that facilitate the voting appropriately. And then it makes it difficult. When you make any service hard for common people, they lose interest. And that is where we are stuck. We need IEBC here. I call upon the IEBC, authority to bring, to come and register people as voters, as mobile, even as good as mobile, and they publish the dates, and then people will be able to come to the most common areas, and they go to different states. It is early enough, it can be done, but there needs to be the will. Now, they are also limited in terms of the parliament as to pass a budget for that. The IEBC had asked for 65 billion there recently, but they got 45 billion. So they always have a lot of a little limitation, and that's what has been a problem from the other side, from the domestic side. But that is not an excuse either, because having no budget does not culminate to say that diaspora should not be considered. So we, the diaspora, because of their contribution, when they carve, they should be listened to. 700 billion shillings, I feel, is enough to make anyone pay attention. So if we need the service, we demand it. We just don't need it. We are not requesting it. We are demanding for the service from IEBC to come here to show up in different parts and register people as voters. People are interested to, it is their future. In fact, we shape a lot of future of Kenya through foreign exchange and many other things domestically.
Yes, indeed. If I'm coughing $750 billion, I hope you get a cold or a very serious infection, because that is serious money. In also in lieu of that, I think there's ways in this technology-driven times. I think there are ways, if they are so motivated, for people, as many people as possible, to vote. Unless you yourself just are not interested in the Kenyan situation, politics, your community, and so and so. But if you are motivated to make a difference, to make a change, or to have your voice heard, there are very many ways to do that. And also, like us in Radio Maju, if they're going state to state, county to county, we can help them. We can shout out at the top of our lungs and say, hey, kesho tuko hapa Kansas, hey, kesho tuko pale Minneapolis. Come all Kenyans. Obviously, because of time schedules and the rigorous 9 to 5 that people are attached to, you might not get everybody, but at least you have given people the opportunities who are interested in voting. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Jeff Kaluyu, the UCP party leader here on a Radio Maju, and we're talking about things diaspora. So what is your party's position on voting rights, and how do you plan to expand access for the Kenyans abroad?
So, but on the previous point, just to make it better for you, I will put effort to reach out to IEBC and give out the Radio Maju as one of those platforms that can engage and pass on messages, because as you know, if it's a Zoom meeting or meetings, if you have done executive work, if you don't motivate people to join the Zoom, you have to call them 2-3 times even to come to a Zoom that can fire them. So people are lazy naturally, and they need to be motivated constantly. So we want to use platforms like yours. We want to be able, and I will take that step, and I will keep you updated. I've been I was a presidential candidate 2017. I know most of the people, and I'll mention Radio Maju. I'll also mention it directly as an item to IEBC myself. About how I motivate, how I get involved in motivating people to vote, and what UCP is doing as the party leader. In fact, one of the latest things, I'll start with the baby, is that I started even a Zoom, because it has to be a concerted effort between the diaspora and the Kenyan side, the government side. I have noticed the weakness where we are promised every time and there is no check and balances item. You come and promise, and most of the times we are just taken for the money. Whether we are sending a foreign exchange that we are good for, they go around the circle, and at the end of the day, can you bring the money? I started that platform, Zoom, and it will be also happening. It has happened once. It is called the Voice of Diaspora. That Zoom, Saturday, it will be happening, and I'm in almost 20 or more WhatsApp groups for diaspora. So I'll be spreading the link. What we want to do is to create a contract with the diaspora people, with the politicians, and the visitors that come over here, because they promise, nobody checks, they go, and the elections is over. So what we want to be able to do is to create a contract, what we expect anyone to come and execute, to come and do for us, because they come and tell us what we need. You need to invest home, you need to be conscious of this and that. They tell us. We have never told them what we want. And anyone who comes, a visitor comes, has to sign that contract with the diaspora people. Next time they show up, they have to say, check, did you do this? You promised you will do it, and they get a copy. That is what I'm trying to create in the next maximum 3 months, but I would like to get that done as soon as possible. So nobody just comes to talk to us just like that, and without open-endedly, we ask questions, will you do it for us? They say yes. Will you create a ministry for us? They say yes. And then after that, it is over. They're gonna sign a contract with diaspora people. I think that's a step I've taken, and I'm very excited about that. Number two, we are giving them the platform, the UCP platform. If you want any diaspora, if you want to run, and this is from New Zealand, from Europe, United States, we are talking globally. If you want to run for a seat, we will give you a priority in the seat that in your constituency. The biggest problem of most of the candidates has been, and most of the parties domestically, they tell you you must go home. And we know diaspora challenges. You go home, you lose your job, you lose your home, your kids can't go to school, you get divorced. Ain't no jokes here. So we will not require you to be at home. You can be able to create a team at home, and then you go 2-3 weeks where you have your vacation, you go get some more days ahead, and you go campaign, and you leave your team going on. But the other parties, they will tell you, you're not home, you're not serious, therefore we'll give a ticket to someone else. So we give them a whole range of benefit of being a candidate as a diaspora. If you are not able to run, and you can run in your own county, your own constituency. If you don't run, it's because you are not interested. And therefore, how will your voice of diaspora be heard? And we want you in parliament arguing and debating, prosecuting the case for the diaspora people yourself, not hearsay. And then we get problem in get diaspora when somebody comes to visit it. A few people, run to go and meet them. And you know what? Because they see this affinity, they go write a statement, I met diaspora. Where? When did they meet you last? I mean, it becomes maybe a meeting of a few, or they say they ran a survey. To who? So we need a concrete strengthening. We want to work with them. We want them to work with us. This is for the future, for our kids, for their kids, and bring more money. There is a lot of weakness. We like to use UCP to motivate. They have not exploited the strength of even the dollar, the foreign exchange that we bring there. They have not exploited, because even a lot of diaspora, there is informal transportation of the dollar. When you go to visit, you carry 9,000, that is not accounted for. They only account the electronic one. So there is, and how the investment security, people want to invest over there. We want to be able to refer them. We'll have department for, we already, in fact, in our constitution of UCP, we are the only party in Kenya that has UCP, as diaspora, is number 48, how to invest better. Our concerns about the security. People want to invest, but there isn't enough security. All we see is, goons, they call them these days goons, or people who are doing violations. Others are using, violent communication. They come here very nice, these candidates, and they talk to us as if they are very civilized, because they know diaspora and Maju, as you say, Radio Maju, it is usually very disciplined environment. But they go back and they resort back to violence, insulting each other. So diaspora kind of loses interest. We are returning back the motivation, the excitement, the fire, and so that they can be able to participate in these to participate in the organization of the future and the vision and the mission of the future of Kenya as equal partners. And we want to be able to bring up as a platform of UCP to to speak back the truth to the power, to call Njogu, to tell Njogu, these are the things that are not being addressed. And therefore, we want you to address them or you give a solution. You know, this is very interesting because do you know there is a diaspora policy? There was one that was done in 2012, 2024. There was a diaspora policy, good things, talking, theoretical stuff that are very beautiful. But in implementation, how do they get implemented? And also, we want to agitate. We are the best ambassadors of Kenya abroad. How many professors do I know? Research institution from medical school, my PhD is from medical school. How many companies have I worked for in Wall Street, for being a university dean and writing books and being a radio? I've been a radio and TV host. How many things do I know? But have they been leveraged? The answer is no. So we want them to have diaspora as equal partners and distribute decentralized jobs. There has to be a percentage of jobs that are set aside for diaspora so that those jobs are for diaspora. Even a cabinet secretary who is a diaspora. We can't just have a PS. We demand a cabinet secretary because in the first place, we were promised a ministry. It was never given. At least the minimum they could have done is to give a diaspora a CS, but that wasn't done. So we want to fight for Njogu as well, so that she can be promoted to be a CS or another diaspora, because we have a lot of capable diaspora. There are many things that we need to make sure that we fight for diaspora, and UCP as a platform now has come to play, and we will be engaging. They are not aware. I mean, how many times have you seen the diaspora policy booklet? It's about 27 or 30 something pages, but you probably have never seen it. No diaspora, I should have been seeing it everywhere. But why did they write it if the readers, the people who actually get involved, are not reading it or it's not distributed? So those are things, and the good thing is that I have command of what is going on. I know it inside out. There is nothing I'm guessing. I don't have to read a lot because I'm involved in the system. I've run for president. I know what is required of diaspora. I know their weaknesses. So I want them on a debate, and I'll hold them to account as far as diaspora is concerned. It actually, as we always say, you have heard this a million times, it produces foreign exchange more than coffee, tea, and the tourism combined. Who are we? We are the Wale was said, those people. Yes.
Okay, all right. I see you're very passionate about this issue, and that's why I brought you on for the show. If you're just joining us, this is Radio Maju on Monday Maju, and I have my guest here tonight is Honorable Dr. Jeff Kaluyu. So I wanted to say thank you for endorsing me as part of the Diaspora Media team. I would really appreciate that. Even we are non-aligned, but if we are promoting the diaspora voice, I could also do some work on the back end where UCP is involved, just as, you know, another outlet to let the diaspora know what is going on and also to feel their rights. Plus, what I'm hearing is the position that you're coming from is a position of, can we call it love, or where you want to improve the systems, improve what the funds or the source. Okay, the source is the diaspora. The funds are from diaspora. So how are they used? How are they distributed? Who do they benefit? So it's a win-win situation that you're bringing to the table. But when you look at it on another level, it's like we are being shut out. And then another thing you said is something has been written down policy-wise for the last however many years. But as you know, they say if you want to hide something from people, I don't know if it's black people or all people, you put it in a book. that way they're not gonna read it. So this is very interesting. And then another point, not to take too long, is we had another conference, maybe a meeting, a roundtable meeting in DC the other day. I think it was last week, and we had the chair of the central bank, we had the chief justice, we had Pauline there. I think she's doing an amazing job, but obviously she could do more. And they talked a lot about diaspora investments, and I also did a show with investors in Kenya like Centum Re and Bipingo Real Estate. So there are people who already have this structured investments that they organize for diaspora people. So how does the diaspora, what is it called, the minister, or
Yes.
how do they come in to help in this situation?
They definitely hasn't, and we have to talk the truth, because the truth will help PS Njogu and others in the government know how to leverage, because I know they genuinely need diaspora. And the only way to get diaspora leveraged well is to know the truth. They haven't been effective in, and it breaks my heart, because I know diaspora can invest a lot in Kenya. Diaspora, they don't send all the money they have, as much as the extra money, back to Kenya due to various things. And they are also not motivated. For one, they don't necessarily understand what it is. I was there. And what we would have done is that they could have come with cards showing if you want to invest, and give them the cards to the people so that people can see the summary. What we had is conversation. We have to listen. We have either to take notes, and there wasn't notes on the table. There wasn't booklets on the pen on the table. So people had to listen to that. I am an executive, so I have to be very direct, and I have to be very honest. So if they came with the cards that people came back home, these people will share with more people, or they will see, they can take a picture and share in the WhatsApp groups. So there is no effectiveness. And I can guarantee you, I'm an MBA finance and economics. I worked in Wall Street in investments. Not many people understood what these investments are about. When you talk of Nairobi, stock exchange, what it means. What I saw is a lot of expertise. We had one gentleman who was a database manager, a bad guy in database and programming. But how are we going to? We can use even that person in the embassy to be able to structure the database for diaspora, and even bring in how, if you want to invest this, how do you go about it? What are the advantages? And what is a T-bill? I mean, treasury bill. Many people don't understand that. So people can buy those things, can invest in those things. And I know the frustration of the government is that we send money to Kenya, but it is mostly for milk. It's for cows. Yes, that has been their complaint, that it is not for school fees. Lironi, Mau Summit, Lironi Road, it needs to be financed as a bond item activity, and diaspora can buy, a piece of it, and they get, tossed, and they get their money back. They don't explain that properly. There's a lot of politics that are involved. And then also government officers always has been scared. Am I going to do the wrong thing next time? I'm not going to be sent, across. If it's judiciary, they say they are going to use AI. They need to dig deeper how they are using AI to make decisions. Are we scared of how the law will be applied through AI? So I think they need to do more, and it was 2-3 hours. And I think this needs a whole day of serious investors who can dig deep and they understand. And also they can have, and that is, I don't know why they avoid hiring diaspora who will mentor other diaspora, who will teach other diaspora and do conferences. They finance conferences. That doesn't happen. They prefer to come and explain to us a few things, but I think they will. And I call upon Njogu to think about that, to hire a few people who understand, let's say, investment, foreign exchange, how to focus it, who understand the projects that are being rolled out by the government, and then how people can be able to leverage it. And I think they will take a lot of advantage of that, and they get more. I think the diaspora is not leveraged as much. The small things like volunteerism. I mean, we have research scientists, that very experienced research scientists like me in medical field. Urban planning. We have transportation that is not well planned. We have teaching and referral hospitals. We have a lot of doctors. We don't have a system where you can go. They are limited in time. When they visit in Kenya, you are told you need to volunteer in Kenyatta. I need to volunteer. They don't even need money, diaspora. They need just to volunteer, and they go to a construction of a road, a better road. The water in Nairobi is a problem, flooding and everything else. And we live in areas that people have done a lot of urban planning. They plan for the Western world and advanced worlds. They can do it for Kenya. That is what we call reverse drain of brain. We are always, if you look at their three main vision or missions, is to look for jobs for the diaspora, to protect the diaspora. Their reason they need to add as a fourth item, because they have three, the reverse brain drain, so that we can come and give Kenya better work, and they pay for it. They shouldn't be scared of paying for expertise, because after all, it is needed in Kenya, and they can get it from diaspora. Why did you send students to the United States, to other countries? I came here on F1 student visa. I became one of the good research scientists, a professor, university dean. I've written books, TV, radio show host. I am loaded up. And if I unloaded that in Kenya, it will play a big role in that. But you know what? I'm doing it just a little, as much as I can do it, but it is being wasted. Thank God I volunteered to go and lead a political party. I volunteered myself as a sacrifice as a presidential candidate. And that is why I'm asking the diaspora to support me. I will be coming around, and I will not hide with, donations. I'll be asking to be funded, because they fund people who they give the money. They have no decision on how the money is being used in the political world there. And once these people leave, they go make their own decisions with their own friends, and they make deals. But whether you are there, you just gave your money, and they come again. They are shameless. They'll come back again for the money. You would rather finance Dr. Jeff Kaluyu, who represents you, who will give you opportunity, who will agitate for you. And guess what? It's your own. Why are you hanging out in people's houses? My mother used to tell me, I will get hurt or you can be poisoned when you go to people's homes. So we don't want diaspora poisoned in other parties. This is your UCP. You take advantage. This is it.
So this is the worldwide diaspora, or is only the US diaspora?
This is worldwide. Whoever, we are trying to bring the diaspora all over the world together. And I want you, Radio Maju, to help in trying to spread that gospel. We are, incorporating you as our media, so that you can associate with us and spread the gospel across the world, that there is a UCP party, that is diaspora party, that we can support, that we can agitate, we can run for office. Surely, even Kenyan people, watatudharau, they will really not respect us enough, because they will say you had your own thing, you could not even support it. Why are you hanging out around us? What do you want? You even had your own party, you couldn't support it. Why? Why are you not together? The areas like Morocco, like Algeria, like Tunisia, like India, China, where diaspora has had proper policy and vehicles. Even Liberia, they have sent Salif. They have sent the latest president, the footballer. They have sent him as he's a foreign guy. Kagame was in the United States at the point. So when you talk of those people who leveraged the diaspora to go back, agitate, improve their country, that was done, and their countries are actually, I would think they are better managed. I think Rwanda is one of the top. Tunisia is a top destination. Egypt is kind of coming in. We are talking of serious diaspora dent. Now, diaspora has been included in the policies of African Union as a major pillar, but also they are calling diaspora to come back to help in developing Africa. They are just talking of developing, telling us what they want. They have never come and asked us, what do you want? And that's a very big question to us. So we need a policy that is diaspora policy that incorporates diaspora as real part of Kenyan governance. And also looking at small things. When we die, people die here, people get sick here, people get in trouble with the law, they are in jails, there are people in jails, there are people homeless. How we live in two worlds, but you can't just look at one world and say diaspora bring the money back to Kenya. There are some diaspora who will never come back to Kenya, but they have interest, they have, yes, they are citizens and they are not coming back to Kenya. But that does not mean they cannot participate there. How do you leverage? And we are always concerned with the first generation, you, I. We need to go after our kids, so that they can also funnel their money after their parents to start preparing them to participate in Kenya. We are going for kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. That's how you do diaspora policy. And you need someone who understands diaspora totally. And I'm sure you get to understand that I understand diaspora very well, and I understand their issues. So we are going to go to the debate, and I will put everyone to task, and I will be fighting for diaspora to the end. So I want diaspora to support me. I want diaspora, even if you are Kashagwa guy, Kalonzo guy, but this is a diaspora project. So you support your guy, but you support the diaspora project because you are diaspora. I will not dislodge you or make enemies with you, but I am a diaspora project. You should support a diaspora project, whether you have other parties, but you contribute so that I can be able to go around like them. When am I going to look like them on top of the cars? I do, but I use my own money. But I want to be arguing with them down in the valleys, in the air, even in the ocean. I'm ready for doing it.
Kunaskiza ground.
Tunaskiza ground. Yes, I want to be on the ground just like the rest, not working and go finance my campaign. That's kind of shame.
Okay. You said a couple of very interesting things that I would like to rebut, but the most important, I think, is, even if I am 1 term, 2 term, 3 term, 4 term, I can still support a vehicle that is speaking to my needs.
Exactly. Diaspora is a separate lane. If you have 3-4 lanes, it is one of the lanes. You can use the other lanes, but support your own as diaspora project. And that diaspora project, it comes once in a blue moon. There's never been a diaspora party that is initiated by a diaspora person. And people since Tomboya airlift, how many political parties have been there? There hasn't really. So we have the first baby for the first time, and I will do succession planning. If I'm not there, another diaspora should be able to continue with it. But we cannot be jealous of each other. We cannot be ignoring each other. We must support the diaspora project. And if you are listening, I'll be releasing the pay bill number so that you can at least finance me. If you go to Google, you will see my presidential debates that I won hands down, because God has blessed me with the language, has blessed me with the ability to communicate, I believe, well. And I was running them around the circles and bringing issues that are right. And if you back me up, I should be able to go to every county. I should be able to go to, really to talk to them in a humble way. So I'm kindly asking diaspora to support me financially. If we wanted, look at this, my friend, Radio Maju. If diaspora wanted to send a candidate to president, it is just like tomorrow, like yesterday, because all Kenyan, most of the Kenyan campaigns are about money. Who has more money than us? If we need enough money to finance me, nobody can defeat me. I win 6 o'clock in the morning. I guarantee you, and I'm not joking, I am very serious. Because you need to be running around logistics, but it's a very expensive deal and we can afford it. So we should never be complaining if we had our own opportunity. We blow it, we should never, ever.
Never, never.
And I don't know tomorrow. Maybe I'll be there, I'll not be there. But at least today, we know I brought in a party. I brought it with my own money. There is no party that will form with less than 13 million. And then for 5 years, talk about 2-3 million to maintain it every single year. I've used more than 20-30 million to be able to maintain this party and form it. I formed it for diaspora. I formed it for you. Guys, I humbly ask for your support so that we can take it to the next level. We can take this president tomorrow. I'm capable and I have ability to lead Kenya. I've led before many different areas, competent areas, and I'm able to lead Kenya to a better place.
Thank you very much. If you're joining us, this is Radio Maju on Monday Maju. If it's Monday, it's Monday Maju on Radio Maju, the voice of the diaspora going beyond diaspora. Now that we're here in diaspora, what is the next step? We want to go beyond diaspora. And I'm glad to have the Honorable Dr. Jeff Kaluuyu here from the UCP party. And one thing that he has said, or you have said, that is very important is the might of the diaspora qualifications, because most people came here for a higher education, and people have achieved very much in their respective industries, and this expertise can be directed to Kenya and what we need to do, because it's a monumental task. It's a huge task that you've put yourself into, and I'll support as much as I can, because I think it's going to be beneficial for the diaspora, because all the money that is being remitted, we want to go beyond remittances. How can we help the communities that we are? You can send money for sugar, money for tea today, and then what about tomorrow? Better if we create an environment where people can get their own tea, buy their own sugar, and also help the economy. And that way, it reduce the burden on us, so that maybe some of those funds, we can release them to whatever you're saying, a diaspora fund, campaign kitty to a diaspora presidential candidate like you. This is a very interesting conversation. And since you're looking to do it long term, we will support you as much as we can. And I think this is a conversation worth having. My name is George Gichobi, and I'm your host at Radio Maju. So you answered my question, which I was going to ask you about diaspora professionals and how will they will strengthen sectors like healthcare, education, and technology. And you really told us exactly how that can be done. So youth unemployment remains a major issue. What role do you see diaspora youth playing in solving this challenge?
Very nice. And even talking about the professional part of it, we need to take stock. Even when I looked at the diaspora policy, it needs to be organized better, because there's a lot of statistics inside, and you are reading statistics inside as literature, like 10,000, and then there is 50,000, there's 50 million, and those are sentences on a sentence. It needs to be put. I didn't see, tables. Maybe because I'm a statistical guy, I'm one of those numbers guy. But people will see things. If they are reading a policy, they can easily be bored if they are trying just to read literature. So they need to have it organized in a better way so that it can be read. But people don't read it, because a lot of people, when I ask them, they don't even know whether there's a diaspora policy when it comes to youth. Youth, yeah, you are guilty. Yeah. So, and also, with my party, I mean, talking about that, I will include a lot of, we have 22 provisioned cabinet secretaries of, let's say, mining, trade, foreign affairs, education. I will have a policy written for each of them. By the way, I am the only presidential candidate and party with a plan. It breaks my heart. It annoys me, if I can use those words, that someone is running. Okay, so it breaks my heart to see a presidential candidate saying words like, we want to take the government and then we will know what to do with it. What are you talking about? Are you serious? What are you running for? What are you running for? You don't have a plan, and they admit they don't have a plan. They are opposition like me, and therefore that is why I'm saying I am the right opposition. Some people tell me, why don't you join Kashagwa? Why should I join someone who doesn't have a plan? I mean, I'm learned. I am a person who, as a political party like them, why can't they come to me? Because once they form their plan, I have a 7-point plan. And once they form a plan like mine, then they can come and join me. But I'm being told, oh, why don't you join Kalonzo or you join Gachagua? But they don't have a plan. What am I joining for? If you do not have a plan, and you are running for president, if we are just running for the sake of running, it becomes a beauty contest. And I think I'm more beautiful than them. But anyway, whatever the case, yeah, if it's a beauty contest,
Let
I
me
want to
ask you,
the
let
contest.
me ask you real quick. Is that plan for the diaspora
That
plan, or
plan
is
is
that
for
plan
Kenya.
for the whole country, to
It
run the whole
is
country?
planned for Kenya, and uh it has diaspora in it. Number one, to
Mm.
grow the economy, create jobs, cut taxes. I will be the end of corruption. I have no corruption file. I'm not part of cartel. I have never been compromised. Most of the people running, they are being told, let's choose who is better, who has less corruption. What are you talking about? I am fresh, I'm experienced, and I know when I say a better Kenya, I have lived outside the country. I know first world, so I know a better Kenya what it looks like. But the other people are saying, "Oh, let's run Kakasongo go one term, and must go." You cannot do that. I don't support. I'm not into Ruto's camp either. But there's a reason you have to have a plan. Otherwise, what are you telling people to follow? And number five is diaspora. We need to be able to help them be invested in Kenya. Those things I was talking about, to be able to address their things when they die. Even our parents come to United States or other countries and they die when they arrive here. What does it mean for the people? We are constantly on WhatsApp chat trying to contribute money. What can the government do? If we contribute so much foreign exchange, what can they do? Can they do a half? We do a half. Or should they be just avoiding the expenses? No, we want to hold their feet to the fire. That we are diaspora, we need more than just transmitting. What do they give us? They give us safety covers. We look into the people who are in jail. They have, can we have lawyers paid by the government to go and represent them? There are people doing different things. There is deportation. If you are held in a deportation and you do not have a lawyer, what happens to you? You can be destroyed, your properties can be destroyed. What is that the government can? We want practical solutions. We don't want theories. We want practical solutions because diaspora has real issues. Now going to the youth. I will be the youth president. I will be the Gen Z president. You know the reason why? In 2024, January, I believe it was 13th. I'm becoming almost like my friend Miguna. He remembers those dates. I created a big youth rally. Actually, it was everybody was invited, but 90% was the youth. I was going to talk about, even to hear to give them chance. Kivuda Kibwana was there. CJ Mutunga was involved. Dr. Ilako. Many people came at Kenya Cinema. And I said that the unemployment is too high. It's going to cause problems. It's going to bust. That was January in 2024. And I declared myself, Raila Odinga was alive. I declared myself as the new opposition leader because I'm carrying the star and the feelings of the Kenyan people. Guess what? In June 25th, the youth, the same things that we were talking about. Actually, before then, they created something called NADCO, that they went to Bomas of Kenya to collect some opinions. But guess what? They create, instead of sufurias that Kioni they were beating about, instead of addressing the cost of living, they did everything else and created positions for themselves. And guess what? They said, we are not going to touch cost of living because it's too hard. June 25th, the riots came in with Gen Z. I'm trying to make a point. I was there as a lone voice complaining and telling Kenyans we are heading to a red zone. Something will happen. They were not there. So after the youth died, that is when they are coming in and say, oh, Gen Z, they showed us where were you, and you are in power. You are also in a position of talking. Now you are saying our Gen Z, you are Gen Z, you are not there. I was there. And I said it. So I approved. I'm the youth person, visionary person who can be able to go to the youth. Now, we need, how do we get this employment going on? First, we need, and you have been in the United States for a while, there are things that companies call idea banks, innovative clinics. So the people, money, payment, all money is achieved by solving people problems. We're still using cows in Kenya instead of machines to plow. How do we use cows? I was there. I have a shamba, and I was feeling for the cows that were plowing my shamba. I was like, never again. And these days, there are handheld plows that can be done, you can buy, and instead of hurting cows and whatever the case. So there are innovative ideas. That's what I'm coming on with. There is solar. There is things that can be made every street because we are being burned by the sun. That is employment, green energy. It is there. Looking, and I have started something called Idea Bank. In one of my offices of UCP, we'll be meeting so that we can be able to invite the youth to see what they can be able to solve. I can't afford much if I had support of diaspora, but if you have a good idea, I'll give you 10,000 with a group of people, and you tell me 10 steps that you will do. After the first step, I give you money. After the money that is scheduled for that until it finishes 10,000 and you finish the program. Because if I give you 22,000 or 10,000, you're gonna eat the money and take your girlfriend to wherever you take the girlfriend, and the money is finished. So we will control it, because you know why? When I was working in Wall Street, I was in charge of SBA, Small Business Administration. I gave more loans. I'm in the Hall of Fame of Bank of America, all of Fame, for lending more money to small business than anybody else. So I understand small businesses. If we have trained our youth to be hired by organizations, they need to be able to work for themselves and be innovative, hire themselves, look for the needs in Africa, not just in Kenya. I started something called Dr. Kaluyu Leadership Academy, where and this is across, because as a professor, I've taught people across Africa, 52 countries. So I bring those students to join that Dr. Kaluyu Foundation, Dr. Kaluyu Leadership Academy, and they are able to kind of liars talk of which needs are there in their countries. In Kenya, we see how we can solve them. It is called competitive advantage. They give us what we need, we give them, and we become a universal sort of a trade zone. We can create it ourselves. So I am nimejazika na ideas. I am full of ideas that I can make Kenya robust, move again. I release the beast of the economy, and I understand it because I worked in Wall Street. I wonder, as all these presidential candidates, we lay our resume on the floor. How many people have been university deans? How many have worked in Wall Street? How many people have written books, or they understand medical? I understand health. So when I talk, I know where I'm coming from. Most of them, they are just saying I was a so-and-so in government, I've worked for 50 years. What are you talking about? We are not electing 50 years. And by the way, I'll be creating a matrix so that we can evaluate candidates. If you don't pass the matrix, you shouldn't be there. They are in for a big deal. They are with the wrong candidate.
So not just somebody has to have at least a basic degree. You're going to create a matrix where you check off like competency and
competence. Yes, those things, what they have done, their history, and their capacity to perform. If you don't pass the test, then you know all this noise you see. It is because you are hiding something. What Kenya needs today is someone out from outside the system, someone who's no corruption file, not part of cartel, someone who is new. People need freshness. These people are the same people. They are from Kano, they worked together, they are friends in the background. If you give them money from the back end, some of them will just disappear like yesterday. But we need someone who wants to change Kenya for real, make diaspora part of it, and diaspora will produce money like no other business, like they are doing in Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt, India, Japan, China, all those places, and some of them. Israel is very big on diaspora, especially in the United States. They take money on diaspora. We need to be able to do that, and I'm ready to lead on that. It will be never the same again. If I got the opportunity, Kenya will never be the same again.
Like I said, this is a monumental task, but it is also a brave task, and it is also a very necessary task.
Yes.
Because I know Rome was not built in a day. We know what we need, and
Yes.
we just have to, and we have somebody who knows what we need and is doing what we need. We just need to support them and
Yes.
move on to the next level. All right. If you're watching us, this is Radio Maju. If you've just joined us, here, my guest is the Honorable Jeff Kaloyu from the UCP party, representing the diaspora. Welcome one more time to Radio Maju, and we're going to take our first break here and join us on the other end. Thank you so
much. Remember, you're building His image and likeness. God is love and love is God, and God is in all of us. So bring out the G in you. I'm your boy, O Genius, Blast Master G. Peace, bless.